So, you have a Spider-Man movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do, and it's gonna be all about Spider-Man.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
I thought you might like that.
So what happens in the movie?
Well, it starts with Peter Parker as a nerd in high school, and this is one of those cool high schools where everybody's 30 years old.
Those are the best kind.
And one day they go on a class trip to look at science stuff, right? And there are a bunch of radioactive spiders there, but one of them is missing.
That can't be good.
Yeah, and so Peter's gonna get bit by it, this big red and blue one.
Oh my god, what does everybody say?
Oh, well, he doesn't tell anyone, he keeps it to himself.
He gets bitten by an obviously radioactive spider and doesn't ask if he should seek medical attention?
That's right.
Oh, very irresponsible.
And then he's gonna go home and feel real sick.
So he's gonna ask for help then, right?
No, he's gonna go to his room, close the door, pass out, and wake up with superpowers.
Oh, that's amazing, and it's actually a really good message for kids.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, if you ever feel so sick that you might pass out, lock yourself in your room alone and maybe you'll wake up with superpowers.
That's a very good point, sir.
So what powers does he develop?
Oh, he gets this really cool occasional spider sense.
Occasional spider sense?
Yeah, well, sometimes in the script I have it not be a thing so he can get surprised by stuff.
Extremely unreliable superpowers.
Yeah, and his main power is the ability to shoot webs.
But he makes the web shooters himself, like in the comics, right?
No, we're gonna have them be organic because of the spider bites.
So the web fluid comes from inside him?
Yeah.
Where's that fluid stored inside his body?
Oh, you don't want to know.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I was just checking to see if I developed Jedi mind powers. It's stored in his balls.
Oh, the balls. Okay, I got you.
Anyway, so obviously Peter wants to keep his powers a secret, right?
Of course.
So one of the first things he does is a triple backflip in front of all the other 30-year-olds at school.
Very discreet.
And he's also gonna make himself a crappy costume.
Yeah, well, I guess a high school kid wouldn't have any costume design skills.
Right, but after Uncle Ben dies, he's gonna get really good at it out of nowhere and make this amazing looking spider suit.
Oh, well, people grieve in different ways, you know? Lots of people cry and lots of other people become very skilled at making costumes.
That is very common.
So who's the bad guy in this thing?
Oh, it's this guy Norman Osborn, and he's gonna turn into the Green Goblin.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, he has these bombs that turn people into skeletons.
Oh man, it's gonna be tough for Spider-Man to win when the bad guy has those.
Actually, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh really?
Yeah, see, Green Goblin's never gonna use those again, so it's not even gonna be an issue.
Oh wow, that does make things a whole lot easier.
It sure does. So anyway, Green Goblin's gonna ask Spider-Man if he wants to team up with him and be evil together.
Oh, and if Spider-Man says no, he's gonna kill him?
Yeah, but he's gonna be really cool about it. He's gonna be like, you know what, take your time, think about it, and if you want to be evil together, hit me up.
Very considerate.
Yeah, and later he's gonna hide in a fire and surprise Spider-Man like, hey, did you think about my offer?
Oh, surprising people at fires is tight. That's where I had my grandma's 70th birthday.
In a fire?
Yeah, she was so surprised. She kept on screaming and screaming.
Probably because of the fire.
Maybe, but mostly the surprise, I think. So what else happens in the movie?
Well, Peter's in love with this girl MJ, but she's dating his friend Harry Osborn.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, but he's gonna save her as Spider-Man and they're gonna share this romantic upside-down kiss.
Infidelity doesn't count if it's upside down.
Exactly, so she's still a good person.
Fantastic.
Although she does also kiss him at Harry's dad's funeral.
Oh, well, kissing at funerals is super romantic, so that's still cool.
Right, good point.
But I guess he doesn't say anything to her as Spider-Man, so she doesn't recognize his voice, right?
Actually, not only is he gonna speak to her, but he's gonna repeat the same thing he said to her as Peter Parker 30 seconds earlier about being in the neighborhood.
And she doesn't recognize him?
She's not the brightest, sir.
Yeah, I guess not.
Anyway, so later Green Goblin is gonna dangle a tram car full of kids on one side of a bridge and MJ on the other.
So this happens during the day?
No, it happens at night.
Why were there a bunch of kids in a tram car at night?
They were on one of those nighttime field trips, I guess.
Oh, well, that's not a real thing.
Whoops.
Whoopsie, so who does Peter choose to save?
He chooses both.
Was that an option?
Yes.
Well, okay then.
So then there's gonna be a big final fight and Green Goblin's gonna accidentally kill himself.
Wow.
And so yeah, what do you think?
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, and I have the perfect guy in mind to play Peter Parker.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this guy Tobey Maguire, he's gonna be the definitive Spider-Man. Nobody's ever gonna be able to replace him.
Amazing.
So, you have a Spider-Man sequel script for me?
Yes, sir, I do. So at the beginning of this movie, we're gonna have this whole big thing where Peter's having a bunch of time management and money problems.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's trying to balance being Spider-Man, being a student, paying his rent, being a photographer, and being a pizza delivery guy.
He's a pizza delivery guy now?
Yeah, but he's gonna lose his job if he doesn't deliver a bunch of emergency pizzas in like 7 minutes.
If he's having such big money problems, why doesn't he try to cash in on the Spider-Man thing a little, you know? Do an event or a public appearance or
something? Yeah, there are probably lots of ways he could use his Spider-Man powers to make money, but it would be totally unethical to do that, you know? Doesn't he sell Spider-Man selfies to a newspaper for cash? Well, yeah, but other than that, you know, completely unethical to make money using Spider-Man powers. So how does he deliver the emergency pizzas? Using his Spider-Man powers. Oh. Yeah, and Aunt May is also having money problems, and Peter's worried about her because she's all alone and she can't pay for the house. So he moves back in with her and they pool their money together and all their problems are solved? Well, no, because Spider-Man has to be downtown to do Spider-Man stuff. Living with Aunt May didn't stop him from being Spider-Man in the first movie. Well, it would stop him now for some reason. Well, okay then, so what else happens in the movie? Oh, well, at the beginning of the movie, we're gonna have Peter choose to not confess his love to MJ because of his responsibilities as Spider-Man, even though she's clearly into him. Oh, isn't that literally how the first movie ended? Yeah, we're gonna do it again, almost immediately. Well, okay then. And then later, this guy Otto Octavius is gonna be like, Peter, you know the way to a girl's heart is through poetry, and so Peter starts to study poetry. Why? To win over Mary Jane. But you said she's clearly into him and he turned her down. Oh, whoops. Whoopsie. Anyway, so this Otto Octavius guy is actually pretty important. Oh, and what's his deal? Well, he's creating this mini sun reactor thing that could provide sustainable energy for the whole planet. So he has a whole crowd gathered at his place to watch him turn it on for the first time. Seems like the kind of thing you do behind closed doors for the first time. Yeah, for sure, but instead he's gonna do it in a Manhattan skyscraper with a bunch of unguarded people watching. Interesting choice. And so as part of the project, he's made these crazy robot arms that he controls with his brain. And they have a little glass inhibitor chip so they don't take over his mind. Wow, well that's a world-changing invention right there. People watching must be freaking out. They literally have no reaction to it. Huh? Anyway, so the machine doesn't work and Otto's wife dies and the inhibitor chip gets destroyed. So the robot arms take control of his mind? They do. This is gonna be some awesome Terminator stuff. What does the evil AI want to do? It wants to rebuild a machine and create sustainable energy for all mankind. Oh, that's actually pretty noble. But like in an evil way. Oh, okay. So then Doc Ock realizes he needs money to buy the parts to rebuild the machine, so he decides to steal some. If he's okay with stealing, why doesn't he just go steal the stuff? Why go through the extra step of stealing money and making transactions? I don't know. Fair enough. So then later, Peter and Aunt May are at the bank, right? And out of all the banks in New York City, Doc Ock happens to rob that very same one at that very same time. Wow, what are the odds of that? Astronomical. Oh, astronomy is tight. I know, that's why I put it in there. Amazing. So then Spider-Man and Doc Ock are gonna have this big fight and exchange punches and kicks back and forth. So I guess Doc Ock's metal arms block all the punches? No, Spider-Man lands a whole bunch of punches and kicks. But Spider-Man has super strength and Doc Ock is just a guy with robot arms. Wouldn't a single punch knock him out or incapacitate him? You'd think so, but apparently the guy can take a hit. Impressive. So then Aunt May saves the day by hitting him with an umbrella. Oh, she does? Yeah, gets him real good. Wow. So later Doc Ock needs some tritium to build the machine, so he goes to see Harry Osborn, who's the one who gave him some earlier. Oh, so Harry gives it to him? No, he says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you some if you bring me Spider-Man alive. Why would he agree to a deal though? He came to threaten Harry. This isn't a negotiation. Well, he's gonna agree, because Spider-Man has to be involved in the movie somehow. Oh yeah, Spider-Man does have to be involved. So then Harry tells Doc Ock Peter Parker can tell you where Spider-Man is. How come? Because he takes Spider-Man's picture sometimes, and that means they're super close. That is how photography works. So then Doc Ock tracks down Peter in a coffee shop with MJ. How does he find him? Unclear. Fair enough, and what does he do? Well, how did I get your attention when I walked in here? You threw a printer at the back of my head. Exactly. Throwing a heavy object at someone's head is the best way to let them know you want to talk. So what does Doc Ock throw? Well, he has super strong robot arms, so he throws a car. Whoa. Yeah, if Peter didn't have his Spidey sense, he'd be dead for sure. Doc Ock got super lucky that Peter Parker's secretly a superhero. Definitely. So then Peter stops a train with the power of constipation, and Doc Ock kidnaps MJ and brings Spider-Man to Harry. Oh, so what happens next? Well, Harry takes off Spider-Man's mask and he's like, Peter, you killed my dad in the first movie. So Peter's like, I didn't kill your dad, he tried to kill me and accidentally killed himself. No, he's like, Harry, there are bigger things happening here than me and you. Feels like that other sentence could have cleared everything up though. Well, there's no time to say that one sentence, so he says the other one sentence instead. I guess that makes sense. So then Peter's like, Harry, you need to tell me where Doc Ock brought MJ. Does Harry even know that? No, he'd have no way of knowing, but somehow he tells him anyway. Wow. And then after a little fight, the mini sun gets too powerful and they have to find a way to destroy it. Oh, is that gonna be hard to do? No, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, Dr. Octavius is like, I'm gonna dump it in the river, and then that immediately works. And what happens with Harry? Well, he's gonna go crazy and find his dad's old goblin stuff. Oh, what does he do with it? Well, we'll find out in the next movie. Whoa, hold on, we need to see if this one does well first. Maybe the success of the first one was a fluke. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, but if it does do well, we're gonna cram Spider-Man Spider-Man down people's throats for years. Oh, fingers crossed. So, you have a Spider-Man sequel script for me? Yes, sir, I do. So for this one, I really wanted to go all in on what people really loved about the first two movies. Oh yeah, a bunch of cool Spider-Man action? No, a bunch of relationship problems between Peter and MJ. Is that what people liked about the first two movies? Well, I certainly hope so, because we're gonna have a ton of crying and whining from both of them. Wow, fingers crossed. I also noticed that there weren't a lot of music or dance numbers in the first two movies, so I went ahead and jammed like 4 or 5 of them into this one to compensate. I guess it'll be fun to have some good musical numbers in there. Oh no, they're gonna be really bad. Oh, they are? Yeah, one of the story threads is actually about how bad the first musical performance was. Like, MJ's gonna get fired from her Broadway play, she was so bad. So we're jamming a bunch of bad music and dance numbers in there? Exactly. Interesting strategy. I'm sure people won't see it coming. Probably not. So one of the things that people definitely liked in the first two movies were the villains. So tell me about the villain in this one. What's his deal? Which one? Oh, you have 2 villains? I have 3 villains. Oh, laying it on real thick. Okay, tell me about the 3 villains. Well, we're gonna have this guy Flint Marko turn into the Sandman. Okay, and what's his deal? Well, he has a sick daughter, so anytime he does something bad, it's not his fault. That's true. If you have a sick family member, you're not responsible for any of your actions. Exactly. Like last week, I heard my niece cough, so I went outside and stole a car. Not your fault. I know. That's what I explained to the screaming people inside the car. So how does he turn into the Sandman? Well, he escaped from prison, so as he's running from the cops, he falls inside a big science hole. Those things are all over the place. I know, and at this one, a bunch of scientists are doing tests on some sand at 2 a.m. and not following up on the results. Wow. So yeah, he completely turns to sand, but this little locket that his daughter gave him doesn't, so he has something to look at all sad like. Oh, she gave him a locket? Yeah, apparently she realized that having a locket with a picture of herself was a little weird, so she gave it to her dad. That is a weird thing to carry around. Anyway, so to push things further with Sandman, later Peter and Aunt May are gonna get called to the police station. What for? Well, the police are gonna be like, guess what? It was actually the Sandman who killed Uncle Ben, but we didn't tell you because we didn't want to upset you. So why are they telling him now? Because they want to upset them now, I guess. Oh, suddenly deciding to upset people is tight. Yeah, and this way we can rewrite Uncle Ben's death to kind of shoehorn the Sandman in there. Why would we do that though? It doesn't add anything. So Peter can have a deep personal connection with the villain. Is that really necessary for every single villain? Yes, always, forever. Well, okay then. We're also gonna have the Venom symbiote in this movie. Oh, people love Venom. They sure do, sir, and he's gonna be in the movie for about 5 minutes. That's more than enough Venom, right? Oh yeah, I mean, we need to leave room for all the musical numbers. Very true. So what's the backstory of the Venom symbiote? It's gonna fall from space on a meteorite and land right next to Peter in Central Park. So what does Peter do? Well, he doesn't notice because he's in a web hammock kissing MJ. What about his spider sense? Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing, so it's not gonna be a thing in this movie? Fair enough. Yeah, he's just gonna get blindsided left and right. He's not gonna see anything coming. That's okay. As long as we don't really bring up Spidey sense, I don't think people are gonna notice. Oh, well, Venom does have a line later where he's groping MJ and he's like, my Spidey sense is tingling, if you know what I mean. Oh, well, we can't cut that. That's a fantastic line. My thoughts exactly. So anyway, this symbiote is gonna turn Peter's suit black and make him kind of a jerk, but really cool. Oh, so he's like into jazz? I said he's cool. Of course he's into jazz. Just making sure. He also does a lot of finger guns and pelvic thrusts and dances in public to no music. Oh, none of that is gonna be physically painful to watch. Not in the least. He even says cool stuff like, now dig on this. Very cool. So anyway, eventually Peter's gonna get rid of the symbiote and it's gonna latch on to Eddie Brock. Oh, tell me about Eddie Brock. Well, he and Peter are fighting for the same photography job, right? Okay. And Peter discovers that Eddie faked a picture of Spider-Man. Unbelievable. So Eddie's like, come on, man, give me a break. Don't tell anyone. And Peter's like, you want forgiveness? Get religion. Oh, but he didn't ask for forgiveness. He asked for a break. Right, but there's gonna be a scene in a church later, so it's like foreshadowing. Doesn't really make sense for him to say that, though. It's a nod to something later. Yeah, but I mean, I'm a good writer. Oh, well, okay then. So what happens at the church? Well, Eddie goes there to be like, hey, God, could you please kill Peter Parker? That is how church works. And as it turns out, at the very same time, in the very same church, Peter's in the bell tower tearing off his symbiote suit. Wow, what a wacky coincidence. Yeah, so Eddie Brock's gonna be like, Parker, and then some symbiote's gonna fall on him. And he's gonna turn into Venom, and he's gonna turn into Venom, and all he wants to do now is kill Peter Parker himself. himself. So he climbs up to the top of the bell tower. Oh, well, no, I just have him do a scary thing where he jumps at the camera. But isn't Peter just lying there naked at the top of the bell tower? I guess he must have woken up and swung home naked. I don't know. Fair enough. And then the other villain is Harry Osborn, and he's like the new Green Goblin. And why is he a villain? Well, he thinks that Peter killed his dad, so he wants to kill Peter. Oh, true. But towards the end of the movie, his butler's gonna be like, yo, your dad killed himself. I cleaned his wounds. I should know. Why did he wait so long to tell him? I don't know. That works for me. So then it's gonna be this big final fight of Harry and Peter versus Sandman and Venom. What are they fighting over? What do you think? Mary Jane got kidnapped? Mary Jane got kidnapped. I love that we always do that. It's just as exciting each time. Man, so it must have been tough to juggle all these villains in the same script. Actually, it was super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, throughout the script, I just had things happen to them that made them take little breaks from the movie. What do you mean? Well, like Harry bumps his head and forgets everything for a while. Oh, amnesia is always a great storytelling device. And then Sandman gets flushed down a sewer for a bit. Wow, and what about Venom? Oh, well, I just make the symbiote hang out in Peter's apartment doing nothing until I want it in the movie. It just hangs out? Yeah. It just hitches a ride on Peter's scooter from Central Park and chills out. That's a very patient symbiote. So what do you think? Do you think all these story threads are gonna work? I think it's gonna work very well. Very well. So, you have a Spider-Man reboot for me? Yes, sir, I do. It's gonna be called The Amazing Spider-Man. Oh, that sounds amazing. Yes. So what's the movie about? Well, it's like a Spider-Man origin movie with some extra origin thrown in there. What do you mean? We're gonna have this whole thing about Peter's parents disappearing and him trying to figure out what happened to them. Oh, is that something that people are interested in seeing? I hope so, because we're gonna lean into it pretty hard. So what happens with that storyline? Well, Peter finds some secret papers in his dad's old briefcase, and that leads him to going to this high-tech company Oscorp because he wants to figure out what the heck happened. Is it gonna be hard for him to get into a high-tech company like Oscorp? No, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, there just so happens to be an internship thing going on, so he steals someone's identity and sneaks in. He steals someone's identity? Yeah, and then the guy whose identity he stole is gonna get dragged out by security. It's gonna be hilarious. Doesn't that make Peter Parker seem like kind of a jerk? No, it's gonna be charming, because at the beginning of the movie, Peter's gonna help out a kid that's being bullied. Oh, so we're just gonna assume that everything he does past that point is gonna be likable? Yeah, we're gonna have him be a good guy in that one scene and then coast along on that, hoping that people empathize with him. Ooh, let's hope that works. Yeah, fingers crossed. So what happens at Oscorp? Well, he's gonna keep being a jerk by breaking into a secure room in the lab. Very charming. And that room's full of spiders, so one of them's gonna bite him. And that leads to him getting his powers? Exactly. So then he wakes up in the subway and discovers his new abilities. Oh, awesome. I love scenes when heroes discover they have powers. So how does it happen? Well, he's gonna undress a woman without her consent. You know, just rip her shirt off. What? Yeah, and then some guys are gonna jump in to defend the woman, cause you know, that's sexual assault, and then Peter's gonna beat up her defenders. Wait, are you doing like a dark reboot of Spider-Man where he's the villain or something? No, he's a good guy. Remember he saved that one kid from the bully? Oh, right. He's likable. So, and what happens with his investigation into his parents' disappearance? Oh, well, we're pretty much gonna abandon that storyline. What do you mean? How's it resolved? We just don't bring it up again. I don't know. We're just ditching the character's whole initial motivation. Yeah, we're gonna shift the focus to Peter trying to figure out who killed Uncle Ben. Oh, Uncle Ben is in this movie. Yeah, of course. So we're gonna have that whole with great power comes great responsibility line. Yeah, well, I didn't want to use that same line, so I found a way for him to convey the same message in a way that's just as smooth. Oh, how does he say it? He's like, your father lived by a philosophy, a principle, really. He believed that if you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things. That's what's at stake here. Not choice, responsibility. That is just as catchy as with great power comes great responsibility. If not more catchy, it just rolls off the tongue. Agreed. Anyway, so later a guy robs a store, and as he's running away, he drops his gun in front of Uncle Ben. Oh, so Uncle Ben gets out of the way? No, he tries to grab the gun. Was the guy gonna shoot someone nearby or something? No, he was just running away. So why would Uncle Ben do something dangerous like that? Because he needs to die. Well, okay then. So then Peter's gonna rampage around the city trying to find his killer. Oh, does he end up finding him? I don't know. That's another storyline that we're gonna abandon. Oh, we are? Yeah, I really enjoy starting story threads, but I find it's tough to end them, so sometimes I just don't do it. Fair enough. Writing's hard. I also have this antagonist, Rajit, who's just gonna disappear from the movie completely at a certain point, never to be heard of again. Wow. So what else should I know about the movie? Well, you know how Spider-Man's secret identity is super important? Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, not to this version of Spider-Man. Oh, what do you mean? Well, he spends most of his time as Spider-Man without his mask on. He also does a bunch of superhuman him and stuff at school. He straight up tells Gwen Stacy that he's Spider-Man. He also uses a camera as Spider-Man that says property of Peter Parker right on the back.
Wow, does anyone not know that he's Spider-Man?
Probably not, to be honest. Huh, yeah, he's the worst.
So tell me more about the bad guy.
Oh, well, his name is Dr. Connors, and he's missing an arm, so he wants to find a way to grow it back.
Okay.
But then he ends up turning himself into a giant evil lizard.
Oh, sounds pretty scary. So what's his evil plan?
He wants to turn the whole city into lizards.
What? Why?
Because he really likes lizards. He thinks everyone should be lizards.
Well, okay, so everybody would permanently be lizard people?
Well, I guess it wouldn't be permanent because he has to keep injecting himself to turn into one.
So his plan is to turn everyone into lizards for a little bit?
Yeah, pretty evil, right?
I guess that's not very nice.
Yeah, it's super sneaky, mildly an inconvenience.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And he's even gonna turn this group of cops into lizards.
Oh wow, what kind of stuff are they gonna do while they're lizards?
I don't know, we're gonna show them turning into lizards and then only come back to them when they turn back into humans.
Keeping it mysterious, that's kinda cool.
Yeah, and then the lizard is gonna kill Gwen Stacy's father.
Oh no.
And his dying wish to Peter is that he stay away from his daughter to keep her safe.
Wow.
So Peter's like, I'm sorry, Gwen, I can't be with you anymore.
Well, I mean, obviously he's gonna respect the wish of a dying man.
Of course. For about 5 minutes, then he's like, screw that guy.
Oh, immediately betraying someone's dying wish is tight.
Yes, sir, it is. So what do you think?
Hey man, as long as we keep the rights to Spider-Man out of Disney's hands, I'm happy.
Great.
So you have an amazing Spider-Man sequel script for me?
Yes, sir, I do. And for this one, I really took a look at how people reacted to Spider-Man 3 to learn what not to do in a Spider-Man sequel.
That is smart, because people did not like that movie.
Exactly. And one of the things that people really hated is that a bunch of time was spent on relationship problems between Peter and MJ.
Very true.
So instead, what I did was spend a bunch of time on relationship problems between Peter and Gwen Stacy.
That's a completely different person. People are gonna appreciate that.
Yeah, and instead of being kidnapped and put into dangerous situations like MJ was, Gwen Stacy just straight up runs into them herself.
Empowering.
And dies.
Oh my god.
But before she dies, Peter's gonna be like, I stalked you every single day while we were broken up.
Oh, stalking a woman is a super romantic gesture.
Yeah, unless you're ugly, then it's horrifying.
Thank God Peter isn't ugly or Gwen would have been pissed.
Yeah.
So what other Spider-Man 3 lessons did you apply to this script?
Oh, well, another thing that people really didn't like about that movie was the inclusion of the 3 villains.
Right, there was Venom, Sandman, and Green Goblin.
Exactly, so I made sure not to make that mistake again.
Fantastic, so how many villains are there in this one?
Still 3, but they're different ones.
Oh, so it wasn't that there was too many villains crammed in, it was that they weren't the right ones?
Right, so I completely switched it up and went with Rhino, Electro, and Green Goblin.
Oh, well, Green Goblin was in Spider-Man 3 as well.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. So tell me about Rhino, what's his backstory?
Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. What about Electro?
Oh, well, he's gonna become super obsessed with Spider-Man after Spider-Man saves him and reads his name tag.
Okay.
And later he's gonna get electrocuted and get bitten by a bunch of electric eels.
Oh, and that gives him electric powers?
You bet it does, and obviously it also, fixes the gap between his teeth.
What?
Yeah, he's gonna be in a tank full of eels and you're just gonna see his teeth get closer together because of the electricity.
Why would that happen though?
Well, what are the first things that come to mind when you think of electricity?
I guess lightning bolts, eels.
Right, and also dental work.
I'll be honest, if I had to list 5,000 things relating to electricity, I don't think dental work would even make that list.
Well, then how do you suggest we fix the gap in this guy's teeth?
He could just not have a gap in his teeth or continue to have a gap in his teeth?
Oh, you sound insane right now.
Wait, does the gap in his teeth factor into the plot or something?
No.
Okay, you know what, whatever, let's just move on.
So anyway, later he's gonna be in Times Square absorbing a bunch of electricity and something's gonna happen that's really gonna turn him into a villain.
Oh, what happens?
Well, Spider-Man doesn't immediately remember his name and then he gets jealous when all the screens switch from video of him to video of Spider-Man.
That's it?
Yeah, and also he has voices in his head now or something. We're not really gonna get into it, but he's evil now. That's all you need to know.
Well, okay then. So tell me about Green Goblin. Is it gonna be Norman Osborn or his son Harry?
Well, it's gonna be Harry, but his dad is gonna be in the movie a bit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Norman's gonna be on his deathbed like, son, I never imagined dying this way.
What way?
Well, he explains to Harry that he had this super rare disease that only affects Osborns for some reason.
Oh no.
Yeah, and also that it started to affect him when he was Harry's age, so he's probably gonna get sick too.
I thought he said he never imagined dying this way, but he's been dying this way for 40 years?
That's right.
Wow, dude's not very good at putting 2 and 2 together.
I guess not. So anyway, then Norman's gonna die and Peter's gonna come visit Harry.
How come?
Well, he's gonna be like, hey, old old friend. Remember how we were childhood best friends? Wait, Peter was best friends with Harry Osborn? Yeah. But pretty much the entire first movie had to do with Oscorp stuff, and we never once mentioned he had a personal relationship with Harry Osborn. I guess he forgot about it. Wow, what a horrible memory. So then Harry decides that he needs Spider-Man's blood to cure himself, so he's like, Peter, you took his picture, you must know Spider-Man. Taking somebody's picture doesn't automatically mean you know them. Well, listen, I need to move the plot forward, so not everything's gonna make sense. Feels like you should have stuff make sense. Feels like you should have stuff make sense. That doesn't make any sense. Exactly. So we good? I don't know anymore. Perfect. So Peter's gonna be like, let's just give this some time, and Harry's gonna be like, I don't have time. Doesn't he have like 40 years before he dies? Well, I want there to be a sense of urgency here, so we're gonna pretend like it's urgent. If you say so. And what else happens in the movie? We're gonna have Aunt May become a nurse. Oh, where's that story thread gonna go? Nowhere. Wow, well, good for her, I guess. Yeah, it's not easy to become a nurse. I'm really proud of her. It'd be pretty cool if it factored into the story in a meaningful way. Yeah, but it's not gonna though. Oh well, so what else should I know about the movie? Well, people really liked when Spider-Man cracked jokes in the first movie, so in this one he's gonna prioritize jokes over human life. Oh, he is? Yeah, like he's gonna have an opportunity to stop Rhino, but instead he's gonna crack some jokes and let him continue his rampage for another 5 minutes. Very irresponsible. And when Electro is going crazy in Times Square, Spider-Man's gonna take the time to put on a fireman hat, even though people are about to die. Oh, playing dress up during life and death situations is tight. It's also extra dangerous because for some reason every time there's a major crime in New York, everyone forms a crowd to watch. Wow, the people of New York have no sense of self-preservation. We're also gonna have a big story thread where Peter discovers that his father mixed his own DNA in with the Oscorp spiders, and only somebody from his own bloodline could ever get superpowers from them. Really overcomplicating his origin story, huh? Oh, wait till you hear how Peter discovers it. Do tell. He's gonna break his dad's old calculator and find some subway tokens in there. Then he's gonna go to an abandoned subway station and put them in a coin thingy, and then a secret train's gonna come out of the ground, and in that train there's gonna be a message from his dad. Wow, that is a super complicated way of relaying information. Right, could've just left him a note. So how does the movie end? Well, Green Goblin's gonna team up with Electro because they both hate Spider-Man. Okay. And Electro has these shorts on that came out of nowhere. He just suddenly has shorts on? How's that possible? Do you want to see a lightning penis? No, I don't. Yeah, me neither. So he has some shorts on now. Yeah, okay, good call. So then they're gonna have a big final fight against Spider-Man. Is it gonna be hard for Peter to take on Green Goblin and Electro? No, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, Green Goblin is only gonna attack after Electro is dead. They're gonna take turns attacking Spider-Man? Right. I thought the whole thing was that they were gonna team up. Yeah, they're gonna team up, individually, one after the other. Pretty awful strategy, but okay. And then we're gonna have Harry Osborn in prison, and we're gonna tease his plan for the Sinister Six. Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, and he's gonna arrange to break Rhino out of prison and give him a Rhino outfit. What's that gonna accomplish? Oh, something, I suppose. Wow. And then Spider-Man's gonna swing a manhole cover at him, and we're gonna cut to the credits. Oh, we're not gonna show how that fight ends? Maybe we'll show it at the beginning of the third movie. Well, assuming people enjoy this one. Hey, if Tobey Maguire got 3 Spider-Man movies, Andrew Garfield's getting at least 3. Yeah, you're probably right. So what's the movie about? Well, it takes place a couple of months after Civil War. Okay, so Tony Stark has just made a big deal about superheroes having to be responsible. Exactly. So at the beginning of this movie, Tony leaves a weaponized spider suit with a high school student and then doesn't take his calls. Oh, very cool. Yeah, and it's equipped with a ton of crazy stuff. There's a bunch of web modes, a recon drone, glider wings, web grenades, even an instant kill mode that kind of turns on by itself. And Tony just leaves that in the hands of a teenager. Well, he left a software block on the crazier stuff. Oh, so it's impossible for Peter to access those modes. Actually super easy, barely an inconvenience. Really? Yeah, well, Peter's friend Ned from high school hacks into the suit and just unblocks everything. Oh, hacking. They also take a tracker out so Tony and Happy can't see where he goes. So Stark Technology's like the best in the world. This Ned guy must be really smart. He's not? I mean, I guess technically he is, but we're gonna play him as really dumb. Oh, interesting. Yeah, like in the first part of the movie, he keeps loudly asking Peter super sensitive questions. Oh, that's dumb. Yeah, you'd think that would be a no-brainer for anyone, right? And he's able to hack Stark Tech. He is, so Peter has access to a bunch of functionalities. Interesting. Yeah, and it was really fun to write, because whenever I didn't know how to solve a problem in a scene, I was like, oh, well maybe the Stark suit has a mode to solve this. That's smart. Yeah, and when that didn't work, I just have Iron Man swoop in and save the day. People like Iron Man. They do. Oh, that reminds me, the suit has a Jarvis interface, so we might have to get Paul Bettany back if possible. Oh, actually, we can't do that. How come? Well, he's transformed into Vision now. Oh, that's right. I can see if his wife is available. Jennifer Connelly, yeah, perfect. Great. So does this movie have a villain? Because I'd like to start casting ASAP. It does. He's called the Vulture. The Vulture. So kind of like a... He's like a
Birdman. A Birdman. Okay. I can work with that, that'll help. Awesome. So what's his deal? Well, he was hired to clean up alien debris after the invasion in the first Avengers movie. Interesting, tying it together. Yeah, but then he was fired, so he became a supervillain to support his family. Just a 180 like that. Yeah, pretty much immediately. So he and his crew start stealing alien debris and use them to make super weapons. Oh, you'd think the government would be keeping really close watch on that stuff. You'd think so, but we jump forward 8 years in time and Vulture's doing great, no problems at all. Wow. Yeah, and it's like they're not even being that secretive about it. No? No, they're just selling to like run-of-the-mill criminals for robberies and stuff. Just anyone. It seems that way. Plus one of the guys likes to demo them in open spaces. At another point, they're literally on the news. And nobody's looking too deeply into this. Not really, no, but Spider-Man decides to. Oh, he does he? Yeah, and it's gonna lead to some pretty crazy action. Like, we're really stepping things up from the older Spider-Man movies. I'm listening. So you know in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, there's Peter's love interest falling from high up inside a tower? Yeah. Well, in this movie, we're gonna have Peter's love interest falling from high up inside a tower, except now that tower is the Washington Monument. What's wrong? I think that's a mistake. It is? Yeah, I do. I think the Washington Monument is technically an obelisk, not a tower. Oh, but you like the idea. Oh yeah, no, I love the idea. Love interest falling from high up, that's amazing. Great, and we're also gonna do the Jesus thing from Spider-Man 2. Jesus thing? You know when Tobey Maguire is trying to stop a train with some webs and it looks like he's gonna poop? Oh yeah. Yeah, so basically that, but with a ferry that gets cut in half. How does he manage to get the ferry back together? Well, I couldn't think of a way for the suit to take care of it, so Iron Man swoops in and saves the day. Gotcha, that's a good system, right? It made this so easy to write. So what's the climax of the movie? Oh, so Happy Hogan is having a bunch of super dangerous and valuable stuff shipped for Tony. He does that even though there's this big bad guy flying around stealing dangerous and valuable stuff? Yes, he does. So I guess he's gonna have some pretty crazy security on that shipment. No, he puts it on a plane and sets the plane to autopilot. That's it? Oh, it's invisible. Does that help? No. How did the Vulture and his team learn so much about the plans to ship this stuff? Oh, we're not gonna explain that. Oh, that's a gutsy move, because some people might consider that lazy writing, but I know you're just trying to keep some mystery. I like it. Yes, because of the mystery, that's why I did that. And how does the movie end? Well, Tony had taken Peter's suit away because he went after the Vulture, which was reckless. Right. And at the end, he offers him a new suit because he went after the Vulture, which was brave. Okay, so Spider-Man ends the movie with an even better suit. Actually, no, that's a pretty big moment. Go on. Tony offers him this amazing Iron Spider suit, but he's like, no thanks. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a huge character moment. I like that. Right? It sends the message of like, I don't need Iron Man. Exactly, by not taking the suit, it's like, I am my own person. Yeah, and I think the decision to not get in the suit is really gonna define the character moving forward. I love it. So, you have a Venom script for me? Yes, sir, I do, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. Oh, yeah? Yeah, we're gonna have Venom biting heads off and massacring people left and right. Wow, well, as long as we don't see any of that, that sounds awesome. Wait, what? Well, we want that PG-13 rating, so we can have him bite people's heads off, but we can't see it happen. So we can do it if we don't do it? Yeah, exactly. We can just cut away and imply that something violent happened. Oh, that's gonna be significantly less satisfying to watch. Well, our hands are tied. We need that PG-13 rating if we want to make money off a comic book movie. Well, I mean, what about Deadpool and Logan and Deadpool 2? What about them? Well, they were R-rated comic book movies and they made a ton of money. Can't we learn anything from their success? Well, here's the thing about learning. It's for nerds, and I hate doing it. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. So what kind of tone and genre were you thinking for this movie? Oh, all of them. All of them. Yeah. Sometimes it's gonna play like a horror movie, and other times a superhero movie, and other times a buddy comedy. We're just gonna be all over the place. I guess it's good to cover lots of ground. Yeah, if somebody isn't enjoying a certain part of the movie, they just have to wait a couple of minutes and it'll switch to a different genre. That's pretty innovative, actually. So what happens in the movie? Well, we're gonna have some symbiotes land on Earth, right? I think it's pronounced symbiote, actually. It definitely isn't. Well, how about we have them pronounce it symbiote in the trailer and see how people react? I guarantee that they'll be angry. Don't you mean that they'll buy angry? I don't. That's not how that's pronounced either. Listen, as long as people go out and be a bunch of Venom merchandise, I don't care how they feel. Fair enough. So anyway, these symbiotes land in Malaysia and they're taken by the Life Foundation, but one of them escapes. Oh, is it Venom? No, it's a symbiote called Riot that's eventually gonna latch on to the bad guy, Carlton Drake. Oh, what's Carlton Drake's deal? I just told you, he's a bad guy. Oh, that's as deep as it goes. superheroes.
Pretty much.
But what kind of stuff does he do? Like, give me an example of a scene.
Well, at one point he's with some kids that are touring his lab, and they start laughing at this one girl because she asked him a question.
Okay.
And Drake has this big speech about how it's important to ask questions and you shouldn't silence people that do it.
Wow, so what does she finally ask as a question?
I don't know, he's gonna leave right after his speech and she's not gonna get to ask him one.
Very harsh.
Oh yeah, so anyway, after the symbiotes land on Earth, I had a lot of legwork to do to get everybody where they need to be for the fun to start.
What do you mean?
Well, like the Venom symbiote's in a secure lab now, right? But the whole movie's about Eddie Brock as Venom, so I had to get him into the lab somehow.
Okay.
So what I did was have one of Drake's scientists reach out to Eddie. And she's like, yo, Carlton Drake is doing tests on homeless people. You have to come to the lab and take some pictures, unemployed journalist Eddie Brock.
Why doesn't she just take the pictures herself?
Way too dangerous.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so she goes the much safer route of breaking into the lab in the middle of the night with an unauthorized individual so he can take the pictures.
Much safer.
And yeah, so that's how the Venom symbiote latches onto Eddie Brock.
And what about Riot?
Oh, well, Riot latches onto this old lady in Malaysia and wanders around aimlessly for 6 months.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, spends half a year as an old lady, then goes to the airport and latches onto a little girl who's going to San Francisco.
What a weird strategy.
Yeah, and then as the little girl, he walks right into the secure lab that doesn't have any security, thank God.
How'd the little girl get to the lab? Did she take an Uber?
Maybe her parents dropped her off, I don't know.
Well, okay then.
And so yeah, then Riot latches onto Carlton Drake.
Wow, that really is a lot of legwork.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is definitely gonna be the least fun part of the movie, but Venom has to break out of the lab somehow, and Riot has to get to the lab somehow, so I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, you could have switched them.
What?
You could have had Venom be the symbiote that escapes at the beginning and have Riot go to the lab, which is where he needs to end up anyway.
Wow, yeah, no, that would have saved about 45 minutes of crap and made the whole thing a lot more fun to watch.
I mean, you could still change it. We haven't started to shoot yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like it though.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, sounds like a whole lot of work.
So anyway, what else happens in the movie?
Oh, well, Drake's gonna want to capture Eddie alive since Venom latched onto him, right?
So what does he do?
Well, what would you do if your secret science thing escaped and you wanted to capture it alive?
Something very low-key, I guess.
Wrong, you'd send a fleet of exploding drones after him as he does crazy motorcycle stunts.
Feels like that would not only kill him, but cause a lot of property damage and attract a lot of attention.
It's gonna make for some really cool trailer shots though.
Oh, well that's what really matters, so okay.
And then at a certain point, Eddie's gonna get separated from Venom.
Uh-oh, is it gonna be hard for him to get reattached?
No, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Venom's gonna latch onto a dog and then onto Eddie's girlfriend, and then she's gonna have to make out with him to transfer the symbiote.
Wait, does that mean she had to make out with the dog?
You're goddamn right.
Oh.
Anyway, so then we're gonna have this big nighttime fight between Venom and Riot.
We're gonna have two super dark aliens fighting at nighttime?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's gonna be kinda hard to see what's happening.
Oh yeah, super hard to see. It's gonna be like watching two people wearing garbage bags fighting by candlelight. It's gonna be like who's who and what's going on.
Sounds exciting.
And at the end of the movie, we're gonna have a scene where Venom and Eddie tease a bad guy before biting his head off.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna put that in the trailer.
Oh, well, it's like the last scene, so maybe we shouldn't.
If there's one thing people want to see in a movie trailer, it's the final scene of the movie.
Well, okay then. So Venom basically says he's gonna bite this guy's head and limbs off, and he's gonna roll down the street like a turd in the wind.
Oh, turds in the wind are tight.
How do you already have an opinion on turds in the wind?
My cat's litter box is right next to a fan.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So how do you think the movie's gonna do?
Well, there's a Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper movie coming out that same weekend in October, so I'm a little worried.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so let's hope that turd in the wind line really resonates with people.
Fingers crossed.
So, you have a movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do. It's called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Wow, using the word spider more than once in a movie title. That's a bold move.
Yeah, I originally had even more, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was called Spider-Man Spider Into Spider the Spider-Verse Spider.
Oh yeah, good call on trimming some of those out.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, we're gonna have this collider thing open up a portal to a multiverse. So we're just gonna have a whole bunch of different Spider-Mans.
I think the correct way to say that would be Spider-Men.
Oh, definitely get off my back, you grammar Nazi.
Oh, I don't like being called that at all. Please continue being wrong about things.
Oh, I will. So we're gonna meet this kid, Miles Morales, and he's just starting at a very exclusive high school.
Okay.
So his father, Jefferson Davis, is a cop, and he gives him a lift to the new school.
Wait, Davis? I thought the guy's name was Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's his mom's last name.
Isn't it usually the father's name that kids take?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, so the dad gives Miles Davis a lift to school.
Oh, never mind. I see why they did that now.
Oh, right, okay.
But wait, wasn't Jefferson Davis the name of a Confederate leader?
Yeah, I don't don't know what was going on with the character naming in the comics, to be honest.
Yeesh.
Anyway, so at the school, he meets this girl that ends up being Spider-Gwen from a different dimension.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and she not only got sent to a new dimension, but a week back in time, so she's there before the portal even opens.
How come?
Because
That works.
And we're also gonna find out that her spider sense told her to go to that school.
Didn't you say the school was super exclusive? How'd she even manage to get in?
Oh, unclear.
Well, so what was she even doing for a full week?
Unclear.
Well, okay, I guess we'll have to make a spin-off to show what the hell's going on with this character.
Anyway, so yeah, Miles got bit by a spider when he went to this underground place with his uncle.
Nice.
And then later when he goes back, he's gonna see this super collider thing and see Spider-Man fighting Green Goblin.
Oh, very, very cool.
And Green Goblin is gonna shove Spider-Man into the collider thing. So his DNA is gonna cause all these Spider-Mans to jump dimensions.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, and then Kingpin is gonna kill Peter Parker.
Oh, I hear killing Peter Parker is gonna be very big in 2018.
Yeah, it just feels like an entertaining thing to do.
So we're just gonna get a bunch of Peter Parkers from different dimensions?
Well, there's gonna be an older depressed Peter Parker, a Peter Parker from the 1930s, a pig called Peter Porker who goes by Spider-Ham. There's also Penny Parker from the future who has a psychic bond with a spider in a robot suit, and then there's Spider-Gwen.
So it doesn't work with DNA? Most of these people are not Peter Parker.
Well, they were all bitten by radioactive spiders, so maybe that's the DNA connection.
Wasn't Peter Porker bitten by a radioactive pig?
Yeah.
And the machine also brought over Penny's actual spider and a robot.
I mean, we have like a multiverse machine. I feel like we could do whatever we want. You've seen Rick and Morty.
It just feels like this is all a little inconsistent.
Okay, then I guess we shouldn't have a bunch of fun different versions of Spider-Man in this thing.
Oh, well, no, I definitely want those.
Well, then get all the way off my back.
Oh, well, okay then.
So anyway, later there's gonna be a huge fight at Aunt May's house.
Oh.
And this bad guy, the Prowler, is actually Miles' uncle. And he's gonna discover that his nephew is Spider-Man just as he's about to kill him.
Wow.
And because he hesitates for a second, Kingpin shoots him.
Why wouldn't he shoot Miles first just to make sure he got his target?
Because Miles is the protagonist.
Right, of course.
Anyway, after his uncle dies, all the Spider-Mans come over to see him.
To give their condolences?
Yeah, that, but also to tell him that, you know, they don't believe in him, and that he's probably not even capable of plugging in a USB key, and then they tie him to a chair and leave.
Oh my god.
It's pretty rough, so then they all attach their webs to clouds and swing away.
Oh, latching onto clouds is tight.
Yeah, so then Miles is stuck to this chair, and he needs to figure out a way to control his powers, or he can't help save the day.
Is it gonna be hard for him to figure it out?
Actually, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, Jefferson Davis is gonna say a couple of inspiring words through a closed door, and somehow that does the trick.
Very inspiring. So are we talking about Jefferson Davis's father, or Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president?
His father.
Okay, just making sure. That does make more sense.
Yeah, so then Miles goes over to see Aunt May.
And she's gonna try to talk this child out of going to a deadly fight?
No, she hooks him up with some gear.
Oh, she does. What a dark and irresponsible version of Aunt May.
Yeah, and then he's gonna head over to the final fight.
Right, I guess time is of the essence. There's no time to waste.
Exactly, but he does stop to spray paint his suit.
Oh, he stops to paint.
Yeah, I mean, the clock is ticking, but he's gotta look good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so then there's gonna be a huge fight at the collider thing. So I figure the animators can just, you know, turn on an iTunes visualizer or something.
Perfect.
Then there's gonna be a really sad moment where Penny Parker's robot gets destroyed.
Oh, her best friend's gonna die. That's sad.
Yeah, well, no, technically it's just a suit that the spider was using.
Oh, so the spider died? That's sad too.
No, the spider's fine, he crawls out.
So like a robot suit stopped working? What's sad about this again?
I don't know, it just is.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so then Kingpin hits Miles really hard.
Oh no.
Yeah, then he just stands there and watches Miles slowly get up.
Oh, he doesn't just hit him again?
No, he just watches, because we had a whole story thing where if you fall, you have to get up.
Oh, so we can't have Kingpin interfere with that.
Yeah, exactly. This is a story beat thing, so he has to just watch.
Oh, villains are defenseless against story beats.
Yeah, they are. So then Miles defeats him.
Amazing.
Oh, we're also gonna have an emotional scene where the characters have like a tearful goodbye with Miles.
Didn't they spend like no time together, and wasn't the last scene them being kind of mean to him?
Yeah, well, I guess they all got really close in the last 2 minutes.
Well, okay, that's very emotional then.
It is. So then we're gonna end on Miles doing a voiceover about how, you know, anybody could be Spider-Man.
Yeah, as long as you get bit by the right spider.
Exactly. So, you know, just go out there, kids, and try to get bit by as many spiders as possible.
Maybe you'll land on a radioactive one.
Maybe.
Wow, I feel like getting some spiders to bite me right now.
I mean, do it.
Shouldn't be too hard. The average human swallows 8 spiders a minute, so there's gotta be some around here.
That's not the statistic.
Well, anyway, sounds like a fun movie.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of wacky versions of Spider-Man running around. It's not gonna win any awards, but it's gonna be fun.
So, you're in my office?
Yes, sir, I am.
Why is that happening?
Well, I have a pitch for a Spider-Man movie, you know, to wrap up Phase 3 of the MCU.
Oh, I kind of thought Avengers Endgame would be a good way to wrap up Phase 3, you know, end with a bang, then take a little break.
Well, this Spider-Man movie's kind of like how you'd have a thin mint after a big meal, except, you know, this mint costs $160 million.
A very expensive mint.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I guess it'll be really interesting to dive into how the characters react to half the population disappearing and reappearing 5 years later. That's gotta be nuts to process.
Yeah, we're barely gonna explore that, though.
Oh, we're not.
Now, see, this episode of the Marvel show is a comedy, and all that seems pretty dark, so we're just gonna play the widespread death thing as a joke and then not really talk about it.
Well, okay then. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting to see how things go now that Tony's gone, you know? Let the characters breathe a little.
Tony's gonna drive the whole movie.
Oh, he is?
Oh yeah, all the character motivations directly and indirectly and all the technology that drives the plot. It's all Iron Man.
Well, people do like Iron Man.
Yeah, not ready to let go of him just yet. He's like a little safety blanket.
He is, yeah.
So anyway, in this movie, Peter wants a break from being a hero and he goes on a little Euro trip with his classmates.
Okay.
But when he gets there, he realizes that Aunt May packed his Spidey suit for him.
Oh yeah, what are we gonna do with that big Aunt May cliffhanger from Homecoming, you know, where she sees him as Spider-Man?
Nothing, she's apparently just fine with it and they work together.
Oh, so that cliff ended up being more of like a tiny step?
More like just more flat ground.
Oh, it was a flat ground hanger, okay.
Yeah, so anyway, Nick Fury approaches him because these elemental creatures are attacking, right? And he's like the only Avenger that can help.
How come?
Well, he asks about Thor and he's off-world and Captain Marvel is busy, so there's just him.
Well, what about Black Panther, or Bucky, or Falcon, or Ant-Man, or the Wasp, or Doctor Strange, or Scarlet Witch, or Pepper?
Well, here's the thing. This is a Spider-Man movie, right? So I'm gonna need you to get all the way off my back about the other heroes.
Oh, okay, let me get off of that thing.
Great, thank you. So anyway, it turns out that Tony left Peter these billion-dollar glasses with a system called Edith.
Okay, and what's that all about?
Well, it lets Peter spy on people and control their technology and control an army of drones from space and kill anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Ew, that killing technology sounds a whole lot like what Hydra wanted to use in the Winter Soldier. Why would Tony not only make that, but give it to a child?
So the movie can happen. He also programmed it so Peter's the only one who can use it.
Isn't Peter only brought back to life like 5 minutes before Tony dies? When would he have programmed that?
Unclear.
Well, okay then.
Anyway, we're also gonna have Mysterio in this movie.
A great villain.
We're actually gonna pretend like he's a good guy so we can surprise everybody with a big twist halfway.
I guess that'll be a fun surprise for people who haven't heard of the classic villain Mysterio, or Google his name when the trailer comes out, or think about how evil his name sounds.
Yeah, I'm thinking we could surprise at least a dozen people with this twist.
Well, great.
Yeah, so Mysterio manipulates Peter into giving him full control of Edith.
Wow.
And we're gonna learn about his big master plan and his motivations and everything.
How are we gonna learn that?
He's gonna straight up shout it in great detail for several minutes.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, and he's gonna point at people on his team and explain why they helped and what their contributions were, and we're gonna flash back to other movies.
Yikes, seems pretty heavy-handed.
Wow, okay, I didn't want to say anything, but heavy hand syndrome does run in my family, and I'd appreciate if you didn't bring it up.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I had no idea.
That's okay, it's just between heavy hands and ham fists, I don't exactly have it easy.
Oh, let's just move on. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So why are we saying that Mysterio's doing all this?
Oh, well, actually, we're gonna have this big reveal that he's the one who made Barf.
Oh, making barf is tight. I did that last night. Had some weird oysters.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, whoops.
Whoopsie, no, he's the one who made the Barf hologram tech from Civil War.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so Mysterio was mad that Tony didn't see the full potential of his hologram technology, so he put together a team of disgruntled employees.
So the villain is somebody that was scorned by Tony Stark in the past?
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of sounds like Vulture in Homecoming.
Right.
Or Ironmonger in Iron Man. Or Whiplash in Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Or Aldrich Killian in Iron Man 3.
Okay, maybe it's not original, but it's a good formula.
Yeah, that's true. So what's Mysterio's plan?
Well, he wants to save the world from a fake Avengers-level threat so he can be like the next Iron Man.
Why?
Because then people will listen to him.
What happens if there's an actual Avengers-level threat?
I don't know.
And if there is an actual Avengers-level threat, aren't there a bunch of other superheroes out there?
Oh my god, that's so weird.
Whoa, what's going on?
I don't know, it kind of feels like you're back on my back about the other Avengers.
Oh, I am, aren't I? Let me get off of that thing.
So anyway, Mysterio wants to stage this big attack on London, and Peter has to stop him.
Uh-oh.
So then Spider-Man's gonna have to fight an army of drones.
Oh, a third-act CGI disposable army, huh? I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I thought that might be an appropriate thing to put
put in a Marvel movie. Extremely appropriate, but how is he able to dodge all those bullets? There's gotta be thousands of them firing every second. By, being Spider-Man. Oh, I guess that's a good explanation. Yeah, and then he's gonna have this showdown with Mysterio and all his illusions, but his Spidey sense is gone. Oh yeah, Spidey sense. We haven't really established that other than that arm hair raise in Infinity War. That doesn't seem like such a big deal. Yeah, well, it's gone now. Okay, I guess that's something. It is something. Well, so I guess it's gonna be hard to beat Mysterio without his Spidey sense, huh? Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? How's he gonna do it? By using his Spidey sense. How does he get it back? By getting it back. What do you mean? He couldn't do it, but then he does it by doing it. I guess that works. Yeah, so then he gets the Edith glasses back from Mysterio. Wouldn't Mysterio also need to pass over the controls like Peter did? Apparently not. Huh. And so yeah, Peter saves the day. Very cool. But then in the mid-credits scene, it turns out that Mysterio framed Peter for the whole attack and revealed his identity. Oh my god. Yeah, and I figure we could get J.K. Simmons to come back and announce it as J. Jonah Jameson. Oh my god. Yeah, and it turns out Nick Fury was a Skrull the whole movie. That's insane. Pretty crazy, right? Do you think it's a bad sign that the most memorable parts of this movie are gonna be the mid and post-credit scenes? That's probably fine. Okay, just checking. So what do you think overall? I mean, it's okay. Oh, is something wrong? No, it's just that, Endgame is gonna be such a record-breaking movie that it's hard to get pumped about this one, You don't think it's gonna break any records? I mean, no, not after Endgame. I just really like breaking records. Well, maybe we could release it on a Tuesday. Would that make you feel better? Why would that make me feel better? So, you have a Venom sequel for me? Yes, sir, I do. And this is the second movie in a series where the protagonist has powers, so you know what that means. He's gonna lose his powers for a little bit? He's gonna lose his powers for a little bit. Oh boy, that never gets old. Wait, that hasn't gotten old, has it? Oh, absolutely not, sir. I guarantee it. Although, keep in mind, I have no idea, and there's no way I can guarantee that. Works for me, so guide me through the story here. So we're gonna meet this crazy serial killer guy, Cletus Cassidy, right? Right, Woody Harrelson in a terrible wig. We introduced him in the last movie. Yeah, but people seem to be distracted by that wig, so I figure we swap it out for another wig that's, just as distracting. I love it. And so this guy, he's really into Eddie Brock. Why? Because. Does he know about Venom? He doesn't. Okay. So Cletus wants to make this deal with Eddie where he'll give him the exclusive story of his life if he agrees to publish this message for his girlfriend Shriek. Right. And Eddie's career is really in the dumps, so he really needs this to restore it. Wait, if this guy's life story is such a big deal and he wants to get something published, shouldn't he go with a journalist whose career isn't in the dumps? Yeah, but the thing about Eddie Brock is that he's the main character of the movie. That's a good point. Yeah, you should go with him. But so then after publishing his message, Eddie and Venom also pieced together where he hid these other bodies, and so they published that, and Cletus gets pissed. Wasn't he gonna tell him his whole life story anyway? Yes. All right. And so eventually Cletus manages to bite Eddie, and that's how he gets the Carnage symbiote in him. Oh, managing to bite people is tight. It sure is, sir. So meanwhile, during the movie, Eddie and Venom keep fighting about becoming like a crime-fighting duo, right? Oh, they're gonna go out and fight crime? I didn't say that. I said they'd argue about it. Oh. Yeah, I figure instead of doing the thing that would be super cool to watch, we can watch them bicker about doing it or not doing it. And also like eating chicken. What? And chocolate. And also Eddie's ex-fiance is engaged again, so they're gonna argue about that. Lots of arguing. Lot of arguing. This is basically a romantic comedy. Oh, okay. So anyway, eventually all that arguing leads to them spending some time apart and Eddie not having the Venom powers, which as I mentioned might still be an interesting thing to do in a sequel. Sure. And so then at the same time, Cletus is about to be executed and he realizes he has this Carnage symbiote inside him. Oh boy. Yeah, so he just goes crazy, right? He escapes from prison and along the way he kills a bunch of guards, he tears them apart, he rips their spines out and blood spurts. PG-13. He throws some guards off screen onto the wall. That probably hurts. There it is. So now that he's out of prison, he wants to go reunite with the love of his life, this lady Frances, aka Shriek. And what's her deal? Oh, well, she has these sonic screaming powers. How'd you get those? Don't worry about it. Okay, I won't. And when she was younger, this cop Patrick Mulligan shot her in the eye. Oh. Yeah, so obviously that led to her having, a little scar and a lightly colored contact lens. That is what happens when people get shot in the eye. But the thing about her powers is that loud noises actually hurt symbiotes, so her screams actually hurt Carnage. Oh, wow, so Cletus is in love with someone whose powers could destroy him. That is very compelling, very interesting situation. Yeah, I thought the same thing, but then I was like, let's not.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, let's just kind of leave it as a Chekhov's gun kind of thing for the end of the movie. I want to keep this at a tight 90.
Yeah, sure, okay.
So anyway, Carnage hacks the internet and finds out where she's being kept from some secret government files.
Oh, that plot point feels like it was written in 1996.
Thank you.
No.
So then he goes and breaks her free of where she's being held too.
Wow, so what are they gonna do now?
Oh, they have a very evil plan, sir. They want to get married and get revenge on 3 people they don't like.
What?
Yeah, see, Shriek wants revenge on the guy that made her wear the contact lens, and then Cletus wants revenge on Eddie for publishing an article after he specifically asked him to publish an article.
Right.
And Carnage, he wants revenge on Venom for, I don't know, being his dad.
What are you talking about?
Look, I just want Venom and Carnage to fight, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. No, I don't really need a good reason.
Great, because I don't have one.
That's fine.
And so then we're gonna go to this cathedral and we're gonna have this big third act fight like you've never seen before.
Oh boy.
Yeah, wait, have you seen any big budget blockbusters in the past couple years?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, then no, you have seen this before.
Oh.
Yeah, big CGI fight between protagonist and bad guy with similar powers.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah, sure.
And at a certain point, the bad guys have Anne and they're like, hey, Eddie, we're gonna kill her in front of you.
Oh, she gets killed right in front of Eddie?
Ah, you'd think so because of the words they said, but no, they immediately climb to the top of the cathedral out of his sight.
Oh, interesting strategy.
And then Shriek ends up falling from the top of the building, and her scream makes the symbiotes disconnect from their hosts.
Oh no.
Yeah, so Eddie and Cletus also fall, but Venom manages to reconnect with Eddie before he hits the ground.
Oh, wow.
So now Carnage wants to go rebond with Cletus, and Venom has to stop him.
Is that gonna be hard to do?
Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just eats him up. He's all weak now. Yum, yum, yum.
Very delicious.
So then they're about to kill Cletus, and he's like, hey, nobody asked, but I was abused, and also I wanted to be your friend.
What?
I don't know, I figured I should take a shot at making the villain sympathetic. I realized at this point in the script that I forgot to kind of develop the character.
Oh, whoops.
Whoopsie. So anyway, then Venom bites his head off.
Oh my god.
But right before he does, we're allowed one F word in a PG-13 movie, right?
Well, you know, that depends. What F word are you talking about?
The F word?
Which one?
Like F-bomb?
Oh. Fa-bomb?
Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. Anyway, so that's about it. What do you think?
Well, it sounds like a movie, you know?
It is. Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm just a little worried, you know, the market's so saturated with superhero movies. I feel like there's nothing setting us apart, you know? Like, why should people talk about this?
But what if we tack on a post-credit scene where we, shove Venom into the MCU?
Yeah, that'll do it.
So, you have a Spider-Man sequel for me? Yes, sir, I do. The third entry in the, I guess, home trilogy. Yeah, it seems like we decided that was a thing at a certain point. So what happens in this movie? Well, now Peter is super famous because Mysterio revealed his identity in the last movie, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so his world's turned upside down. The media's all over him and his friends. That Flash guy writes a whole book about it. Oh, boy. And there are also some legal troubles involved, so they get Matt Murdock in. Charlie Cox. He's from the Netflix show. Yeah, he is. Oh boy, doesn't get much crazier than that. Oh, you have no idea. Well, that's rude. No, I have idea. No, because sir, check this out. I was thinking we get Andrew Garfield to come in as Spider-Man from another universe. Oh, yeah, I mean, he's great. Okay, I was expecting a bigger reaction than that, but also, we get Tobey Maguire in as Spider-Man too. Good actor, sure. Sir, Tobey Maguire. I did love Seabiscuit, that was great. No. Seabiscuit is tight. Sir, they both played Spider-Man before. Oh, did they? Yeah, in other movies, Oh, I guess I missed those. Really? I mean, I have no recollection, but the movie will still work, right? I guess. Okay, great, so let's hear it. Okay, I mean, I was hoping we could get Alfred Molina to come in as Doc Ock. Oh, he was fantastic in Chocolat. Okay, now, you know what, sir? I'm gonna need you to go watch 5 Spider-Man movies real quick, okay? Oh, really? Yeah, the impact. None of this is gonna land the way I wanted to if you haven't watched those 5 movies. 5 movies, okay. All right. Please, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Okay, yeah. So, what did you think? Yeah, you know, I mean, some of that was great. What was that old jazz thing about, though? Oh, we don't need to talk about that. Okay, now listen to this. I'm thinking we get Willem Dafoe back as Green Goblin.
Oh, he's from the first movie.
Oh, there's the reaction I'm going for. I was also thinking we get Thomas Hayden Church back as Sandman and Rhys Ifans back as Lizard.
Well, he's from the third movie, and he's from the first movie of the rebooted movies.
That's right, and also Jamie Foxx as Electro.
He's from the second movie of the rebooted movies.
He sure is, sir. They're all from the other movies. Amazing. Hey, what about James Franco? Should we get him back? Dane DeHaan? Well, okay then. So what happens in the movie? Well, okay, so it turns out that being the most famous person in the world has kind of ruined Peter and MJ and Ned's chances of getting into MIT.
Oh, okay.
And so Peter feels bad, so he goes to see Doctor Strange to ask him to cast a spell to make everybody forget he's Spider-Man. And how does that go? Oh, not well, sir. See, he starts the spell, but then Peter keeps asking for little changes to it, like he wants MJ to remember him. So Doctor Strange takes a minute to just talk it through. No. God, no. Why not? So the movie can happen. Oh, okay, gotcha. So the spell gets messed up, and then people from other universes that know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man start popping into this universe. Wait, did Electro know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man? No, he didn't. So, okay. So eventually Peter's gonna capture all these villains, and they're gonna kind of recap each other's movies to each other, a bunch of inside jokes for fans. Very fun. And then Doctor Strange makes this box that'll send everybody back to their universes. Oh, great. But the thing is, they all got zapped over here pretty much right before they died, so Peter's like, well, we have to help them. We can't just send them to die. Oh. But Doctor Strange says no, so Peter steals the box, and then Doctor Strange brings him into the mirror dimension, which he controls. Oh man, it's gonna be tough for Peter to beat Strange in there. Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, cause see, math? Oh, math. Yeah, math. That works, kinda. So what else is gonna happen? Well, there's kind of this consensus on the internet that everybody's tired of seeing Uncle Ben die in Spider-Man projects. That does seem to happen a lot. Yeah, so I figure we don't do that. Right. And instead we kill Aunt May. Oh my god. Yeah, Green Goblin's gonna blow her up, and right before she dies, she's gonna tell Peter, you know, with great power must also come great responsibility. Yeah, that lesson just doesn't carry the same weight without one of your parents' siblings violently dying. Very true, sir. So anyway, then Ned is gonna use Doctor Strange's sling ring to try and open a portal to get Peter. And that's a thing he can do? Yeah, we're gonna throw in a line about him having magic in his family, so he can do portals now. Wow, okay, so we're just kinda crapping on Doctor Strange's abilities in this movie a little bit, huh? A little, yeah. Well, okay then. And so then these portals open, and that's how these other Peter Parkers come in, the ones played by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, it's gonna be very nostalgic, sir. So I guess they each get like a cameo line, like a little jokey thing. Oh no, they're like in the movie now. Oh, they are? Yeah, full-on characters with effects on the plot and everything. Okay, well that's not usually how these things go. Yeah, no, well see, this movie's kind of a love letter to the Spider-Man movies and their fans. Aw, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, a massively lucrative showcase of our intellectual property. Yeah, okay, the first thing you said sounded a lot more romantic though. Cashing in on nostalgia, but done right. You had it the first time. Oh, okay, gotcha. So does Ned keep making portals? No, he stops at 2. I mean, why not keep trying? They could get Tom Holland. They could see how many Spider-Mans they can get. The scene has served its purpose, sir. We gotta move on. Oh, okay. So anyway, then eventually all the Spider guys are gonna get together and do some science to make cures for the bad guys. Very cool. And then there's gonna be this big fight where they try to cure them all. Amazing. Man, it's gonna be a little hard to keep track of which Spider-Man's which during the big fight, huh? Actually, yeah, a little. All right. And so eventually Tom Holland is so mad that he's about to kill Green Goblin. Oh boy. But Tobey Maguire steps in and stops him using nothing but his wise face, and then he gets stabbed. Oh no, is he okay? Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, he's all right. All right. It was kind of rude of you emotionally, you know. Well, so none of their Spidey senses went off when he was about to get stabbed? No, because they were having a moment. Spidey senses don't work if you're having a moment. Oh, good to know. So then it looks like all these other people are about to come in from other dimensions. It's about to be nuts. Oh no. So Tom Holland, Peter, has Doctor Strange cast a new spell where everybody forgets about Peter Parker entirely. Oh, very selfless. It is. So then all the villains get sent back to their universes, all cured and whatnot. Are they being sent back to just a second before they're killed? Yeah, Yeah, maybe. So anyway, then it's all very sad for Tom Holland's Spider-Man because MJ and Ned don't remember him.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and he's about to go explain the whole situation to them, but then he realizes they're probably better off without him in their lives.
Very sad.
It is, yeah, so he's got to get an apartment all by himself and start over.
So he still has like a social security number, like the government still remembers him? Birth certificate?
Maybe.
What happens with all the videos and news reports about him being Spider-Man?
I guess the memory spell works on computer memory also.
What about Flash's book that he wrote?
Okay, look, sir, I'm gonna need you to get all the way off my back about this memory spell, okay? We're going for a clean slate kind of thing here.
Oh, okay, let me get off of that thing. Thanks. So what do you think? Oh, it sounds like a really good time, you know? How are we gonna market this without spoiling all this crazy stuff?
Leaks? Oh, leaks, yeah, that'll work. Let's do that. Hey everybody, Ryan here, that's me, thanks for watching the video. And if you liked it, feel free to click the like button and the subscribe button and all, buttons of that nature. You can also leave a comment down below letting me know what other movies you want to see pitches for. There are also like hundreds of other episodes on the channel that you can check out if you want. As always, check back soon for a new one. Bye.